What is going on, everybody? This is Johnny, and today I'm going to show you how to make an amazing smoked French onion dip that is the perfect appetizer to have out for the holidays. You'll oftentimes see recipes where people are taking their onions and smoking them and then throwing them into a food processor, making the dip that way. Or there's an alternate way to do it where you take a cast iron and you put it on your pellet grill and you're out there sauteing onions on your pellet grill until they become caramelized. It was 9 degrees out when I woke up this morning. I'm not doing that. And I'm gonna show you an even better way that takes a little bit less effort and less attention that makes the most amazing French onion dip you've ever had. Because let's face it, the stuff in the stores, I'm not even sure there's onions in that. Here's what you'll need. We are going to start out by cutting our onions down the center and through the root. From there, we're going to chop the stem ends off. It's a lot easier to cut them that way if they're flat. If you try to cut the whole onion, it tends to roll. Much greater chance of cutting yourself. Now you're going to peel the onions, which is quite a chore. These peels don't necessarily want to give up easily. Once we have our onions peeled, we are going to then take them and cut them down the center once more, quarter them, keeping that root intact. While you're prepping your onions, you're going to want to have your pellet grill or your smoker getting up to temperature. I recommend somewhere between 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your onions are ready, place them on your smoker. No special treatments necessary here. No salt, no oil. Just put them on as they are. While your onions are smoking, you can take that time to prep the rest of your ingredients. The lemon, a medium-sized one, should do fine. You're going to need about 2 tablespoons. I like to use a strainer. Catch those seeds. You don't have to strain the seeds out with your fingers. That lemon juice wrecks the skin on your hands. Preparing fresh thyme is a pain in the ass, but it is so worth it. The flavor is amazing. The best way that I have found to clean thyme is to grab the stems by the tip. The lower portion of the stem tends to be a little more woody, and then pull against the grain of the leaves, which should strip most or all of them off. The top of that stem is usually a little bit more tender. You can generally eat the whole thing. You can always go back later and pick out the bits that you may have missed. By this point, our onions have been smoking for about a half hour. You're going to notice the layers will start to separate slightly as they dry out. I had to keep them on there about another 15 minutes, so anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour should do it, depending on your smoker. The longer you leave it on there, obviously the more smoke flavor you will get. The best way to cut these, you might want to just use a knife. Otherwise, if you have a mandolin, that's even better. This should likely go pretty quick. And if you're using a mandolin, you probably want one of these gloves. It's not a Michael Jackson glove. I don't know if that joke's even relevant anymore, but this is a Kevlar glove. It prevents you from cutting yourself when you're using the mandolin, so you don't have to use the guard because those suck. So we're just going to grab the root end and we're going to get to slicing. we're going to add our onions to our cast iron pan. We're going to take a little bit of our butter here, pop that in there, crank up the heat. We're also going to put in our olive oil. We have a lot of onions to do. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to saute these onions until they caramelize. And once they get a nice golden brown, we're going to let them cool down and we're going to mix the dip. Also going to add a little bit of salt. It's going to help pull some more of the moisture out of the onions and aid in the caramelization. And I'm not sure if anyone else does this, but have your cast iron pan right there. Basically, we have a built-in spatula holder. Pop that in there, let it rest. Boom. Preventing the greasy countertop. So now there's two ways you can do this. You can either start caramelizing your onions, start sauteing them, and as they cook down, add more and more. However, if you get too many in the pan, they start to steam, and it just takes a while to get that beautiful color we're looking for, and also to pull out the sugars. I have opted to go for 2 pans at once to expedite the process. Now it's 3 pounds of onions. That is a ton of onions. You don't have to make that much. You could always cut the recipe in half. However, this is going to make dip for about 8 people, and let me tell you, it is absolutely worth it. We are about halfway caramelized. You can see it's starting to turn a deep shade of brown here. And from there, we are going to get to the point where there's not going to be much left. So this process can take a while. There's a few bits that can start to burn. That's not a big deal. If you have just a little bit of burn here and there, it actually deepens the flavor. But if it becomes too much, it's a problem. So if you notice some pieces are starting to burn, the thinner pieces are, you just need to turn your heat down a little bit. From there, you're golden. We have some beautiful color that has developed on these onions. A nice dark caramelized color. And I think right there, we are gonna call it good. So we're gonna pull them off the heat now and let them cool. Time to assemble. We have our onions after they've cooled off. Add those to the bowl. Nice deep golden brown color. Means we got great caramelization on them. Then we are going to add in our cup of mayo. I'm using avocado mayo. I like the flavor a little bit better of that. Add a cup of sour cream. And then about half of our lemon juice. Basically a couple tablespoons there. And we will pop in about a tablespoon of that fresh thyme. And we're gonna need quite a few twists here of black pepper. Kick that up a little bit. Okay. And then fold it all together. And one thing you need to do is taste. If you don't taste, it's kind of like painting without looking. You can do it, but it's not great. You need to know what your ingredients are doing together before you go to serve that to someone else. Oh yeah, that is punching me in the mouth with flavor. Amazing. And that is how you make smoked French onion dip. It's pretty good stuff. You can serve it with vegetables or crackers, but personally, I really enjoy the potato chips, the ones with ridges, like these. Smoked French onion dip. It doesn't suck.